welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today in this particular video I am going to discuss about the summary of a play which is known as Hamlet. So before getting into the story or summary, let me give a brief introduction of this play Hamlet. So this play Hamlet was written by William Shakespeare. This is an iconic tragic play. The full title of this play is The Tragedy of Hamlet, Prince of Denmark. This is the longest play of Shakespeare. This play was set in Elsinore Castle in Denmark, and this play is about Prince Hamlet and his revenge against his uncle Claudius, who has murdered Hamlet's father so that he can seize his throne and marry Hamlet's mother. So now let us discuss about the important characters of the play Hamlet. So the important characters of this play are Hamlet, who is the Prince of Denmark, Claudius, King of Denmark and Hamlet's uncle, Gertrude, Queen of Denmark and Hamlet's mother, ghost of Hamlet's father, Polonius, counselor of Claudius, Ophelia, daughter of Polonius and Hamlet's love interest, Laertes, son of Polonius, Horatio, loyal friend of Hamlet, Fortinbras, Prince of Norway, and lastly we have Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, friends of Hamlet. So now let's discuss about the act-wise summary of our play Hamlet. So, the Act 1 begins with a few courtiers discussing about a ghost that resembles the late king, that is Hamlet's father. Among them is the Prince Hamlet's friend Horatio, who also sees the ghost. All of them decides to tell Prince Hamlet about the ghost of his father. Hamlet was pursuing his education in Germany and he returns to Denmark for his father's funeral. When he returns back, he was shocked to see that his mother Gertrude has already married his uncle Claudius, who is now the new king of Denmark. When Horatio tells Hamlet about the ghost, Hamlet decides to wait for the ghost that particular night. So that night, ghost arrives and tells him that he was murdered by Claudius. He says that Claudius had poured poison in his ears when he was asleep. Hamlet is shocked after hearing that, and the ghost tells Hamlet to avenge his father's death. Hamlet confides to Horatio and decides to put on a mask of madness so that he can observe Claudius. But deep down, Hamlet was confused about what he has heard, and he is also uncertain about the reliability of ghosts. In Act 2, Hamlet visits Ophelia and behaves madly. Polonius thinks that Hamlet is madly in love with his daughter Ophelia and decides to tell it to Claudius and Gertrude. On the other hand, Claudius and Gertrude welcomes Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, two friends of Hamlet, and asks them to find out reason for Hamlet's madness. Hamlet greets them warmly but understands that they are spies of Claudius. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern tell Hamlet that they have brought a group of actors with them. Now Hamlet decides to stage a play called Murder of Gonjago that features a murder similar to the way his father was murdered according to the ghost story. Hamlet wants to study or see whether the ghost story was true or not. He thinks if Claudius shows a sign of guilt while watching the play, it will be proof that he is indeed the murderer of Hamlet's father. In Act 3, Polonius compels Ophelia to return Hamlet's love letters and tokens of affection to Hamlet. When Ophelia returns all those things to Hamlet, Hamlet accuses her for being immodest. When Claudius watches the play, he feels guilty and uncomfortable and abruptly rises and leaves the room. Hamlet is now sure that Claudius is the murderer of his father. Gertrude, on the other hand, calls Hamlet to her chamber to demand an explanation for his actions. On his way to Gertrude's chamber, Hamlet watches Claudius praying. Although it's a great opportunity to kill Claudius and take revenge, but Hamlet decides not to kill him, reasoning that killing Claudius while he is praying will send his soul straight to heaven, while his father's soul is still stuck in this world. Hamlet enters Gertrude's chamber and both of them fight bitterly. Polonius, who is hiding in the room, thinks that Hamlet is going to kill Gertrude and he calls for help. But Hamlet thinks that it is Claudius hiding in the room and ends up stabbing Polonius and killing him. Hamlet accidentally kills Polonius, who was hiding in Gertrude's chamber, thinking him as Claudius. Now, Claudius thinks of organizing a match between Laertes and Hamlet. Claudius will give a poisoned tip shot to Laertes so that he can kill Hamlet, and in case if that plan fails, Claudius will give poisoned wine to Hamlet. Gertrude reports that Ophelia has drowned, although she is not sure whether it's a suicide or an accident. In Act 5, Hamlet meets Horatio in Ophelia's graveyard. Hamlet picks up skull from graveyard of Ophelia and contemplates on morality. After Ophelia's funeral, Laertes and Hamlet engage in a fencing match which was planned by Claudius. But in the match, Gertrude drinks the poisoned wine that was prepared for Hamlet and she dies. On the other hand, Laertes injures Hamlet by the poisoned tip sword, but when their weapons gets exchanged, Hamlet kills Laertes with that poisoned sword. When Hamlet understands that it was Claudius' plan, Hamlet at last kills Claudius before dying, and at last Hamlet also dies in Horatio's arm. Horatio is left alive. When Fortinbras, Prince of Norway, sees that entire Danish family has perished, he decides to take the crown of king for himself, and he orders a military funeral to honor Hamlet. And in this manner, play ends. So this is how our play ends. So I hope you all enjoyed hearing the story of our play Hamlet, right? So that was it for today. If you enjoyed watching this video or hearing the story of Hamlet, don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe to my channel. I will try to make more of these kinds of videos which will be helpful for English literature students. So that was it for today. Bye bye. Take care.